The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Well, Clint Meyer from Fire Dragon Chillies is back with us in the Kiwi studio. Nice to have him back, talking about chillies, and in particular today, growing chillies. Hello to you, Clint.
Hey, Glenn. How you going?
Good. How's it been going in the Hokianga?
All good, mate. All good. You know, just busy. Harvest time, lots of chillies, and
Do you grow chillies all year round?
Yeah, I do. They do die off through the winter a bit when it gets a bit colder. They don't really like it under 10 degrees.
Because I was amazed that we even grow kind of specialty chillies in New Zealand. I thought we're too cold here. You know, we're not Mediterranean.
Yeah, I think Auckland and North are, prime conditions for growing over the summer, and I guess a bit further down the country there's lots of people growing around the place as well. I guess you want a bit of cover and protection in the colder areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you basically grow any chilli in New Zealand in the right conditions?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm growing the hottest pretty much in the world, or one of the hottest, so I guess that, yeah, you can.
And what's the hottest called?
Well, yeah, that's a bit debatable at the moment. There's sort of the Infinity's got the Guinness World Record at the moment, which is just a little bit hotter than the Butjalokia.
And tell us about that scale again, the chili scale. What's it called?
Yeah, the Scoville chart. So the Butt was about 1,030,000, and now I think it's 1,060,000. But there's a couple of the Trinidad Viper's rumoured to have hit 1.349 million Scovilles, and the new one, the Trinidad Scorpion, which has been grown in Aussie, they reckon it's hit 1.4 million, but that's just from the guy eating it. It hasn't actually been tested.
Can you die from eating a chili that hot?
I did read somewhere that one guy did die actually after eating a massive amount of chili in the UK.
It worries me because when I've had a really hot chili, and actually it was one of your sauces the other night where I just took a tiny little spoonful, it was so hot and so intense, and the pressures there. You think, man, if I was to consume it, swallow it right now or something, I could die.
Well, it can cause dizziness and heart palpitations, and I probably wouldn't recommend eating one if you've got a weak heart, really.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had a guy in Mount Eden does a hottest curry down there, and he said he's had people pass out on the floor for 10 minutes or so.
Right.
I've had a Mexican restaurant that, with my Dragon's Fury, it gave a guy a blood nose, apparently.
So there are effects,
There are effects,
apart from the ring burner, there are other effects.
Yeah, you can probably get rid of the ring burner if you have a lot of yogurt or milk after a big chili feed.
All right. Put that in the memory banks.
Yeah, that helps.
Not a big fan of the dairy, though, got to be said. No, look, I did get you back in to talk about growing chilies, because I've been trying to grow mine at home, and it's reasonable sort of success. I've been growing them outdoors. Now, you have a polytunnel, don't you?
Yeah, up north I do. We're a few hundred metres above sea level, so we need a bit of protection, eh?
And that's got to help, obviously, with regulating the temperature and keeping things reasonably warm.
Yeah, the temperature sort of, on a sunny day, we can probably get high 40s, close to 50 degrees.
Isn't that too hot?
Well, for probably every other plant, yeah, but chilies seem to be able to handle it quite well, especially these Indian Bangladeshi ones that I'm growing. They're used to probably hitting those sorts of heats over there. Consecutively, if they got that for 3, 4, 5 days in a row, yeah, they could probably start dying.
Where do you get the seeds from?
I've got mine from the UK, just through registered seed dealers over there.
You can do that online?
Yep, you can do that online, but you can get seeds from me, basically, at Fire Dragon Chillies. We sell a few different types, from the lesser heat ones to the extreme. And
I suppose your seeds would be slightly adapted to New Zealand conditions after having grown here, we would imagine.
Yep. We sort of try and grow all the sort of same ones together in the same polytunnels, because, like I said, you can get a lot of cross-pollination, so we're not a registered, we can't guarantee our seed, I suppose, as well, the mother will be whatever we say it to be, but it may have been crossed with something else. I mean, that's one of the hardest things with chilies, is keeping them pure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're all hot. We only grow the hottest, really, so they're not going to be taken down by a weak jalapeno or something like that in there.
What about, do you have to feed them certain sort of fertiliser to keep them healthy?
Yep. You can do. I mean, you want your soil to be needs to have a bit of nitrogen in it and phosphorus and that. We just use our own homemade compost where we use seaweed and the vegetable waste and your horse manure and stuff like that, and that gives it most of what it needs. And also have a worm farm and use that. But there's seaweed feeds, and you can use pretty much similar to the tomato feed for your chilies. They're part of the same family, so you can just get your regular tomato feed and that'll be good for your chilies. And
do chilies last all year round? I mean, are they annual or perennial?
They can go all year in perfect conditions. So say if you're at 28 degrees, they will grow all year, but it's good for them to have a bit of downtime for a few months. They sort of die off a bit. You might get a bit of mould on your branches. You just snip them off, cut them back like a rose, say. They can go back to just the stalk and a little bit off them.
Really?
And then they'll just come back in the spring.
I was under the impression at the end, so in autumn, once they're finished doing their thing, rip them out because they're dead.
Well, some of the big growers and that, they do that to keep the diseases away and stuff like that, and they just go from seed every year. I found that the second year for your plants, if you don't get a whole lot the first year, just protect them from the frost, and then the following year they'll just take off and boom.
Is the most ideal situation to plant them in pots and bring them inside?
Well, that's what I used to do when I was down in Auckland. I just grew in pots in the backyard, and some of the special ones I took inside, but they can still handle it to go down a bit. They don't like it under 10 degrees, and as long as it's not a frost, it won't kill them, but a frost will take them out.
It's starting to do that now in Auckland, even probably late at night, dipping below 10, isn't it? So
yeah, now's the time you probably take them in, get them under a bit of cover, even just a bit of netting or something over the top of them to just keep that frost off the leaves and protect them from dying, basically. And
so I would have thought that, being the nature of chilies, that they wouldn't have too many pests, because you put chili into sprays, don't you, to keep away pests from other plants. So do they have predators?
Well, yeah, the old aphids and that are a real pain.
Okay.
I do my own sort of chili and garlic spray early on before the chilies have set, because you don't want to sort of taint the taste of the chili, basically. You want it to be tasting like the chili. So yeah, I spray them early on, and once the fruit's set, I sort of stop the spray. I used to release a few bugs, like these little wasps that sort of basically put their larvae into the aphids, and that eats them up, basically, and then you get another little wasp. But once the tunnels get over 30 degrees, they all sort of bugger off out the doors.
Anyway,
and you don't really see them again.
Yeah. So you could be growing and you could be harvesting chilies right through winter, right through spring.
You get a few. I had a few in June, July last year. Depends what point the plants are at. Oh, yeah. I mean, it might be a bit different this year, but they do kind of die off. You're pretty much seasons. If you're lucky and you keep your plants through, you'll probably have chilies Christmas time. But if you're planting from seed, late winter, early spring, you're looking at February, March, April as being your chili months. But you can get 6 to 8 months of the year with chilies. And
just very quickly, let's say you've had a pretty good harvest. What's a quick, surefire, not to give away your recipe secrets for your chili sauces, but one you could do at home that would actually be quite decent and would keep in the fridge for a wee while, a nice little chili sauce?
Yeah, well, basically you can either mix it with white vinegar or apple cider vinegar, or even wine, white wine you can use, and just blend it up with whatever vegetables or flavours you want. Obviously it goes well with a bit of onion or garlic and your citrus flavours in there, and
bit of lime.
Bit of lime. I use the limes off our trees at the moment. And you can mix it with whatever else you want. And so
the vinegar should keep it from going off?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it basically preserves it. The chili kind of is a bit of a preservative anyway. It sort of keeps all the bacterias and that at bay, and you can bottle it up, and that's still, that'll be good for over a year.
Wow, nice. Yeah. Cool. Well, Clint, thanks so much for coming on by again and helping us perhaps grow some chilies at home. But if that's not what you want to do, or you want to find out how the professionals and what the professionals' products look like, then go along to firedragonchilies.co.nz.
.co.nz or .com.
Or .com, and search also on Facebook as well for Fire Dragon Chilies. Pleasure having you back. Do come back again soon.
Will do, mate. Cheers.